Hello everyone, welcome to my English class. In today's English class, we are going to see a grammar topic, modals. What is a modal verb? A modal is a type of auxiliary helping verb that is used to express ability, possibility, permission, or obligation. And modal verbs work with a main verb to add extra meaning to a sentence. What is a modal phrase? Modal phrases are also called as semi-modals, are used to express the same things as modals, but are a combination of auxiliary verb and a preposition too. Characteristics of modal. A special type of an auxiliary verb. They can alter or complete the meaning of the main verb. They express ideas such as capacity, possibility, obligation, permission, prohibition, probability, supposition, request, and desire. They can also indicate the level of formality in the conversation. They do not take yes for the third person singular. Modal verbs for asking permission. If you have to use informal way of asking permission, you can use the word can. Can I borrow your pen for a minute? Can I speak to John Wilson? If you have to ask in a polite way, you can use the word could instead of can. Could I please have a glass of beer? Could I open the window? So if you have to ask formally for a permission, you can use the word may. May I ask a question, please? May we go home now? If we have to use the word politely, instead of using may, you can use the word would. See, the word could and would has an inbuilt please in it. Okay, so that's the reason why it is too polite. Would you mind if I ask you something? And here are the list of modal verbs, types, and examples. Let's see in detail. For ability, you can use the modal verb can or could. David can speak 3 languages. He could speak fluent French when he was 5. For permission, can, could, and may can be used. Can I sit in that chair, please? Could I open the window? May I borrow your dictionary? For advice, you can use the word should. You should visit your dentist at least twice a year. You should try to lose weight. Obligation. For obligation, you can use the word must or have to. I must memorize all of these rules about tenses. You have to take off your shoes before you get into the mask. For the possibility, you can use the word might, may, could, or can. It looks nice, but it might be very expensive. Richard may be coming to see us tomorrow. So let's see these modal verbs in detail. So we are going to see more about the modal verbs need not, ought to, shall, should, will, and would. Need not is a negative clauses, can be used for negative clauses. Okay, it does not have s in the third person singular, means not necessary or do not or does not have to. Here are few examples. You need not wait. He need not ask permission. They need not make such a fuss over it. Now let's see the modal verb ought to. Ought to can be used to express the view that sometime or something is right thing to do because it is morally correct. or polite or someone's duty. For example, you ought to admit you made a mistake. Ought to can also be used to predict that something is fairly likely or expected based on normal circumstances or logic. The weather ought not to be cold in May, and ought to can also be used to offer or ask for advice or recommendations. If you have not read the book, then you ought to see the movie. Let's see this modal verb shall. Shall can be used to make offers and suggestion and to ask for advice. And it can also be used to make predictions and to talk about intentions or decisions in formal context. It can also be used for comments. Shall can be used instead of will with I and we. For example, what shall we do with this? Shall I come? Shall I call again on Thursday? This door shall be kept closed at all times. Let's now see the modal verb should. Should can be used to talk about what we think is the right or correct thing to do, especially from the point of view of duty or appropriateness. For example, children should not be allowed to watch too much television. Should can also be used to give or ask for advice or suggestion. I told Kathy she should try to get some rest. Should can also be used to predict that something is probably happen or is expected to be the case based on logic or a typical situation. For example, my sister is on her way. She should be here soon. Will can be used for wish, request, demand, order. Here, if you use the word will, it will be kind of less polite. Will can also be used to predictions about future. It can also used to make promises. It can also be used to take a spontaneous decision. It can also be used to express habits. So let's see a few examples here. Will you please shut the door? She's strange. She will sit for hours without talking. Can somebody drive me to the station? I will. So let's see the word would. Would is used for wish, request, and when you use will, it is less polite. So it's better use would because it will be more polite than will. Would also refer to typical habitual actions and events in the past. Okay. And it can also be used to talk about future in the past. Would can also be used in main clause of a conditional sentence when we talk about imagined situations. Would can also be used with verbs such as advise, imagine, recommend, say, suggest, think, to make what you say less direct. So let's see a few examples. Would you please shut the door? Sometimes he would bring me some flowers. When I broke my leg, I thought I would never dance again. If we had left earlier, we would have been able to stop off for a coffee on the way. I would advise you to keep working on your grammar. So, this is all for today. Let's see with more grammar topics and with more exciting exercises. Stay tuned for the next chapter. Thank you. Take care and bye bye.